agree that we have to do something about the imbalance in our trade with China. I think we have to go after the intellectual property issue, no question about it. The forced technology transfer for American companies investing in China. But let me shift back to Mexico for a moment, because we just dodged a bullet there in the relationship with that country. And I think we got to put things in perspective and also highlight the difference between Mexico and China. In the case of Mexico, we exported $244 billion worth of products to Mexico last year, 2018, which is twice as much as the level of our exports to China. Mexico's our largest single trading partner now, and when that agreement was negotiated with the Mexicans back under the George Herbert Walker Bush and Bill Clinton administrations, we saw this as a way to help build a North American trading and investment platform consisting of Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, which was going to be of a great benefit to our competitiveness throughout the globe. And I think that's exactly what's happened.
So when you say dodged a bullet with Mexico, at least with the latest round, latest round of tariffs, you mean that now it's possible that the USMCA goes forward?
Well, what I meant by dodging a bullet was that these tariffs the trigger wasn't pulled on putting the tariffs into effect, which I think would have had a very harmful effect economically on both sides. I think sometimes Mr. Trump tries to imply that we wouldn't be hurt by that, but I've just got off the phone a little while ago from some people in Michigan who told me that, look, the price of cars would go up, the inflationary impact would be high. That would in turn lead to lower sales of cars, lower bonuses for the workers in that state, and I think would just have a generally harmful effect overall. So, yeah, I don't think tariffs are necessarily a very good idea in dealing with these problems, and I think it's a rather high-risk strategy.
If you can't get a country's attention or get them to take action, whether it's China or whether it's Mexico, what other weapons do you have other than tariffs? And are tariffs always a bad tool to use? It seems like you're saying that.
Well, I don't like them. I mean, I know about the Smoot-Hawley tariff in the 1930s. President Reagan talked to me about that when I was his deputy national security advisor, and the harmful effects they had on our economy. I can see where, in limited circumstances and as a kind of a surgical tool, you might from time to time use them. But here's the question that I would ask you. Say we had gone to 5% tariffs. And then what? What if after that there was no effect and no improvement in the situation and we ultimately went to 25%? I cannot imagine that not having a harmful effect not only on the Mexican economy but our own as well. In fact, it could have a devastating effect. So, yeah, I think it's high risk. I think it's to be avoided. And I think it also undermines the confidence that both governments and the private sector have in the trading and investment relationship between the two countries. Do
you buy into the idea even a little bit that by putting tariffs, let's say it's 25% on Mexico, obviously that's been set aside for now, or on China, that factories that are based there would flock back to the United States or to other non-tariff countries? Do you buy into that at all or not at all?
Yes, they might. I think there might conceivably be movement, even with this harm being done that I've alluded to. You could see some movement to other countries. Might not necessarily be back to the United States. People who make Toyotas and Volkswagens in Mexico might just move them back to their home countries to manufacture. So that kind of movement could take place. Ditto in the East Asia Pacific region. I have no doubt that increased tariffs will have influence on the patterns of trade. I don't doubt that whatsoever. But I'm talking about the overall economic benefit or damage that could be done by invoking tariffs as a regular proposition and at these high levels, such as 10, 15, 25%. Those would be unprecedented in modern American economic history.